Good morning, everybody. We are going to, oops, I'm getting my oil a little hot here. We're going to do leftover turkey enchiladas this morning. A couple of, I'm going to start my first things. Oh, they're a little hot. I use coconut oil, as most of you know. So save a container. Rather you use Crisco or whatever. But so what you're going to do for your oil is you're going to use half a solid, so like half Crisco, or in this case I'm using coconut oil, and then half a liquid. So so in this case I used avocado oil and coconut oil. And then you're going to want to go ahead and do some other prep. I want my oil to turn down a little bit. You want to have a spot that you can put your tortillas. So I've got this bar pan, and then I've got some paper towels here, and I've got extra paper towels because I'm going to layer them. Okay, then I've got my tortillas all laid out so they're ready to go. And I've got my my tongs ready. So then once your oil is hot, you're going to really, even though I use a pretty big pan, I usually only do one at a time. And when my oil is a little too hot, like it actually is right now because I was setting up the camera, it's like instant in, instant out. You're going to put, in my case, because of the size of the sheet, I'm going to do about 6 tortillas per layer. And they're just in and out of the oil. You don't want them, it's just really to soften the tortilla. You don't want it to cook, you just want it to soften it. Okay, because this is going to, so sometimes if you have those older stale tortillas in the refrigerator, you can actually use them for this too. Now, if you come across a tortilla that's folded like this, unless you're short on tortillas, don't use them, because when you go to fold your enchilada, that makes it really difficult. But you can use those for tacos usually. Or if you're making Mexican pizza or tostadas, that's what works too. Okay, and you can see that some of my tortillas are tearing, and that's okay. It's because my oil's too hot. Okay, so now we're going to put down a layer here. And we're going to go in and out. And you can do this, I don't know, maybe an hour ahead of time. You don't want to, oops, that one's got to go too long. You don't want to do it too much more than an hour ahead of time, but you also don't want to do it, you want the tortilla time to cool down a little bit so you don't burn your hands on the hot oil. So I like I said, I use half coconut, well, not probably half, probably like 3/4 coconut oil and 1/4 avocado oil. And so you just want a solid and a liquid. So whichever oils and shortenings you use at your house, that'll be just fine. I'm going to have kind of a new theme this coming year. I know it's still a month away before it's a new year, but I'm gonna really start concentrating on using things that are in my pantry and using things that are up in my freezer. You know, the German in me, I've always taught, oh, you have to eat everything that's on your table. Well, I tend to buy too much at the store also. It's like, oh, this is on sale, this is a good buy, I got a coupon. You know, and my freezer and my pantry are kind of overflowing. So I'm going to dedicate to cleaning those out. So I'm just going to be buying spices that I need and the fresh ingredients. Okay, and I was going to count these because I just want to make 2 dozen, and I forgot to count them. So if you can count your tortillas ahead of time, and I started to do that, and then I thought, no, I don't want to do that because if I get those that are folded, that's going to mess me up. Okay, so we got 1, 2, so we've got 1.5 dozen here, so we're going to do 6 more. So you can see it's just kind of in and out. And sometimes if your oil is deep enough, you can just kind of swirl it around like this. You don't even need to flip them over. I usually have it shallow enough that I kind of flip it, because that way I don't have also too much left over. It'll fit in my container. Now remember, that leftover container you have is probably, because the smaller ones are not glass and the Crisco they're just really cardboard. So you're gonna want to let your oil cool down. Now, if you're using Crisco as your solid oil, you don't want to have it too cold down because you want to still be able to pour it and strain it. So I'm gonna go ahead and turn this off. Okay. I'm gonna let my tortillas sit there a minute. So I've got some other prep and some other tips. Let's see here. This is still new to me for setting this camera up. There we go. Kind of. If I put that down. So a couple of other tips is so I got my foods prepped out here ahead of time. So we all make homemade turkey. Let's see here. We all make homemade turkey gravy, I should say. And our gravy is so much more superior than what comes in the jar or the can. And I got a terrible sun coming in here. But so when your homemade turkey gravy starts to get really low, like we're almost out, you can add some to help make that go further. You can go ahead and add some jar gravy, okay? And usually what I do is once I've served up what I think we're gonna cook for dinner or eat for dinner on Thanksgiving, I go ahead and add a jar or a can of turkey gravy right while it's still in the pan, so it still has all those juices. Okay, so it kind of helps it go a little further. Then when you get down to the last little bit, like in this case, I wasn't going to have enough for the enchiladas otherwise, so I go ahead and add this in. It's going to help make my good gravy go a lot further. And then I need to get a can opener here. And then we're going to go ahead and I'm going to save that my Tupperware lid seal because I might need more here. So I'm going to add a can of I may have to change where I'm going to change to prepping over here. Okay, I'm going to add a can. It's still glary. I'm going to add a can of diced hatch chilies. You can use jalapenos. I'm going to make actually 2 batches of enchiladas today. I'm making one batch that's going to be for Charles and my mother, and they don't like as much spice as we do. So I'm going to add the hatch chilies to theirs, well, to both of ours actually, and then I'm going to add extra jalapenos to mine. So I'm going to put this right in the gravy. And if you don't have enough gravy left over to do this, then go ahead and portion it out. Just put in as much chilies as you like. I'm going to stir this. And so you can see this is actually more color of my gravy than that light color turkey gravy. Okay, then we're going to need some olives in it. And so sometimes I'll buy the sliced olives. Sometimes I'll buy the whole olives. Just kind of depends on what price there are and such. So these are not going to be very many olives, so I'm actually going to need 2 cans. And I love this, oops, you can't see it here. I love this strainer that I got from Pampered Chef because I don't have to get out a big strainer or, and I sometimes forget about it because it has this measuring cup also, but I can just go ahead and put these in there and it'll strain right there and then I can use them. So there's 2 things I'm going to do. I'm going to put this strainer on a plate so when it continues to leak it doesn't go all over my counter. And then I'm going to get my bowl. I like these bowls for my prep work because I can reach my hand in and still fill everything. So if you're like me and you didn't buy sliced olives, you can use your egg slicer, okay? And depending on the size of olives, 2 or 3 will fit in there. I broke my Pampered Chef slicer earlier, so I see this one's not near as sharp. or you can slice them by hand if you don't have an egg slicer. I gotta see if I can have a different slicer. I'm gonna slice these by hand. This slicer is not working. I don't have another slicer, so that one is not very good. It's one I just bought because I'd ruined my Pampered Chef one. So we're gonna slice them by hand. So one of the things I have is this non-skid that's actually a drawer liner. I use it as non-skid. I put that underneath my cutting board to keep my cutting board from sliding around on the counter. If you don't have some of that, you can use just a towel or something like that. So let me see if I can adjust this. Okay, so what you want to do when you're doing this is just hold your olive by both ends and just go ahead and go down and make a slice. So you're going to hold the open end and so you're going to hold this end where it's growing from and the end where it's been pitted, and just hold it there, and then you're just going to go down and make slices. And this will go much faster than that egg slicer because that egg slicer wasn't any good. So my Pampered Chef person is going to be getting a good order because I'm going to need a new egg slicer. I also ruined my chopper this year. My chopper's, gosh, it's close to 25 years old. I'm not sure if it's one of the pieces that has a lifetime warranty on it or not. I hope my Pampered Chef consultant is still in business. That's Sheila. She lives in the Vista San Marcos area. So because I use both of those a ton, I'd forgotten that I had my egg slicer was starting to go, so I bought just that little duck one, thinking that I'd have it if it's when mine breaks, rather than having none. You can also put this in a food processor if you don't mind it. They're really fine. I like mine a little bit larger. Sometimes, you think, oh, the big ones, the whole ones, are cheaper than the slice just because of the difference in the can. But look at the weight content on that, and most of the time they're about the same. The only sliced ones I had in the pantry this morning were jalapeno infused. And again, my mom and Charles's mom, they can't take that much spice. So, and notice there's quite a bit different size in these olives too. One was marked medium and one was marked large. And there's more different. It seems to me like there's 2 or 3 size difference in these. But the whole ones are always nice to have on hand because you can put those on a dinner table, or if you have the green olives, use those for a martini or something. Where the sliced ones you can't put as a snack. So it's kind of a catch-22. So rather than having you guys watch me cut a bunch of olives, so that's enough olives for now. So now I'm also going to go ahead and prep my turkey, and again I'm going to use one of these bowls, and then on your turkey, we have a nice breast left, so we want to set that aside because that's great for turkey sandwiches and for other things like that. But so we want to take these bits, and we're just going to kind of cut them up, and you can just cut them up in longer pieces like this because that way they'll still fit in the tortilla nice. But it just depends on what the shape of the turkey is, the leftover turkey that you have. This is a lot of people don't like the dark meat, so this is a good place to use the dark meat up. And some of these, if they're a little long, I'll cut them in half so I don't have to worry about, I can use them for fill if I need. Some of them you're just going to cut into little cubes, kind of like. So if you get some pieces like this, sometimes this kind of glycerin, it's almost like it's almost like skin, but it's like more like it's tougher. So you don't want to include that, particularly in something like this, because then it's going to make it really hard to eat. But you don't want to have that in a turkey sandwich either. Just a fatty layer that is really chewy. It's where the muscle actually attaches to the the bone actually attaches to the muscle and the meat. It's almost like a ligament, I think. It's equivalent to me like gristle is in beef. It's edible, but it's not enjoyable. Okay, so I think that's enough turkey to get us started here. So when you make your turkey enchiladas, you can also put cheese, onions, whatever else you like to put in it. So I'm gonna set up my enchilada assembly station here. Let me see if I can. Oops, almost dropped the camera. Okay, let's see if we can do that. Okay, so we're just going to get this area cleaned off real fast. And you can also put, sometimes I'll put green onions, a lot of times I'll put green onions in my enchiladas. I'm out of green onions, so I'm not going to use any green onions. You can also put cheese. I'm going to use Daya, which is so I think it's coconut milk. Oh no, it's made with chickpeas. So it's a dairy-free cheese. It melts, this particular brand melts like real cheese, and people that are opposed to eating not dairy product cheese, they don't notice the difference. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to bring our tortillas next to us. See if you can, I think you can see good here. So what we're going to do is I put 2 tortillas in at a time. Okay. Then we're going to go ahead and put our chicken there. I think I need to get this at a higher angle for you guys. Let's see what I can do here. I'm so used to Charles helping me here. There, I think that's better. So I'm going to put these bowls around a little bit better, a little bit more. So I'm going to go, I start with my main ingredient, and this time it's turkey. Sometimes I made shrimp enchiladas the other night. And then I'm just going to put a little bit of cheese in here. And then I'm going to put some olives. I really like olives. And depending on the size of your olives and how you cut them, these are bigger, so I'm going to go ahead and kind of lay them out nice. Then you're going to pick the side up that's closest to you, tuck it in, and roll it towards you, okay? And then you're going to roll it away from you, okay? So you tuck it, cover it, roll it, and if something falls out, it's okay. And then you're going to push it away from you, okay? Each one of the pans I use will hold a dozen tortillas or a dozen enchiladas. Okay, I don't think I did enough turkey for a dozen. So they're those smaller olives, so I'm going to use, so we're going to put this and roll it, and roll it, okay. And I'm all about trying not to dirty extra pans. So, so once it gets, and I'm gonna, like I said, I don't have enough turkey here, so I'm gonna move this. So once you get it like this, or like this even, you don't have enough room to put a tortilla there. So you can go ahead and put the tortilla on top. Put the main ingredient in, and your other ingredients. And you're still going to roll it the same way, but this time you're going to take that last end and towards it to you, and then you're going to roll it over. Okay, so there we've got 6 in a row. I'm going to wash my hands real quick. And depending on how thick your gravy is or how soon you're going to serve it, you can either put it on here cold or hot. And so you're just going to go ahead and ladle some on here. This is not going to go on cold. I thought it would. You can just put it down the middle here, and then you can spread it out. I'm going to go ahead. So once you have all your enchiladas rolled and they're in the pan, and I usually suggest an oblong cake pan like this. It's really quite nice. It fits 12 nicely. If you have a bigger pan, just make sure that they're all kind of going the same way, because by the time you get your sauce and everything on there and they're heated, it's going to be hard to cut them apart otherwise. You can also do stacked enchiladas if you like. Okay, so so I heated up my gravy, because remember I had a bit of a problem that my gravy wasn't hot. My gravy wasn't hot enough. So if you have leftovers, like I said, we're going to put them on top of it. We're going to put our sauce on first. So we're going to want to go down the middle of them first. Okay, and you want to make sure that you're going to have enough gravy for all of your enchiladas. So so we're going to go ahead and put on all. We might not have any gravy left over after this. Okay, then you want to kind of get on the edges. Okay, some people like their enchiladas a little bit more saucier than others. If you're a light sauce person, then put mostly on the edges and then just a little in the middle, because your edges are going to get crispy otherwise. Okay, so we're going to set this aside, making sure we have enough for the other ones as well. And in this case, I'm heating these up to 2 different temperatures sauce-wise. So I made sure I had 2 different kinds of pans here, so I didn't get them mixed up. Okay. Okay, so that looks pretty good. Let's put a little bit more on this corner here. Okay, so that looks quite nice. So now, any leftovers you've had. So I have a little bit of turkey here, and you can just kind of crumble it and put it on top. Okay. I have a little bit of cheese left over. Again, we're just gonna kind of put this down the middle so it's kind of pretty. And then I have a lot of olives left over. I was thinking, oh, well, I'm making a double batch because I'm making a batch for Charles's mom and my mom and us. But I usually make this size batch when I'm making them just for me. So I kind of messed up on the olives. I didn't really need this many extra olives. But again, so you can just use them as garnish, or you can save them and make it, they make lovely olive salad, or sandwich, I mean. You can put them in your salad. You can put them in your dishes. So there we have it. Now I want to spice up Charles's and mine. So if I was making this for just him and I would have put the jalapenos in the sauce, but I didn't want to make it too hot for them. And so I sliced some, just the nacho kind of jalapenos. They're pickled. You can use fresh jalapenos if you like. And then I diced them up, and oh my gosh, they smell so good. And I'm just going to sprinkle them on top here. I'm going to wash my hands because that's jalapeno juice. I got a small cut on my hand the other day washing a glass at my mother's house had a chip in it. I didn't realize it. And neither did she, or she had thrown it away. So so there's our enchiladas. So these will go in the oven. Like I said, you can put them in the oven now if you're ready to cook them now. 350 for about 15-20 minutes. You can put them in the freezer and save them for a later date. You can put them in the refrigerator. If you're taking them out of the refrigerator, you can put them in your oven for about 25 minutes and they should be ready. If you're taking them out of the freezer, you can either thaw them and you'll follow that same rule, or you can take them straight from your freezer into the oven and it'll be closer to like 45 minutes, depending on your oven, and 350. And you know, I don't have very much gravy left, so I'm just gonna go ahead and add a little bit more here. Charles is gonna be really disappointed there's no gravy left, but we used it for something really good. We are getting to the end of our kind of leftovers. You can also, what's really nice is you can take your cranberry juice or your cranberries. If you you have a lot of cranberries left over, you can put them in with a canned enchilada sauce and make a nice sauce for that. You can add them to the Heinz chili sauce and serve it with meatballs. There's some great salad dressings you can do with them, blend them in with just a little olive oil. And so there's a lot of nice things you can do with leftovers. So those are our enchiladas leftovers. I get a lot of requests for these every year. Let me see if I can turn my camera here this way. There you go. And so I get a lot of requests for those. And so enjoy. Have a happy Thanksgiving, and thanks for sharing and staying with me.